Shalom. I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Rakakodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders, great Muslim, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is Brother Amno Allah from GMS Chicago, and as what you can see here on the screen, it says U.S. stocks plunge after Trump's tariff shock to global trade, and right now we're in a trade war, but I believe, things will only just escalate as far as, in this trade war to where when Americans will start feeling pain is when, these nations, all right, put tariffs on America, all right, because they will strike back, all right, with tariffs on America. But so far, all right, it looks like it is actually, the economy is taking damage, from this move that Trump has done, with these tariffs. All right. I'm gonna read an article. It says President Donald Trump rollout of sweeping tariffs on virtually all U.S. imports shattered markets Thursdays as investors dealt an emphatic rebuke of his effort to reorder global trade. As the late morning trends, the dollars were wiped out as the C&P 500 plummeted more than 3.7, which I'm not really good with economics, all right. But as soon as Trump basically put these tariffs on these other nations, right, basically the Dow Jones points plummeted basically, and people were losing money. But nonetheless, the point that I really want to get into this lesson is that what Esau is doing, right, what these elites are doing is that they're really, they're trying to roll out a digital system, a digital monetary system, all right, by the way of the RFID microchip, but they can't just give it to you right away because nobody would comply, all right. Nobody would comply if Esau just gave you, a new monetary digital system that fast. So they're moving in the way of, gradualism. And right now, Esau is trying to crash the economy. Which, yeah, if it doesn't crash, this month or this week, or eventually, the U.S. economy will crash. And it's for a purpose, right? Only to roll out, the RFID microchip at the end of the day, right? And it's not only going to affect America's economy because the fulfillment of Revelations 13 and 16, all right, is going to be a global thing, all right. In the scriptures, it talks about it being the hour of temptation, right? Revelations 3 and 10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation. All right, the hour of temptation, being where you got to make a decision, right, to take the RFID microchip or to not, all right, it's a life or death situation, because those who take the RFID microchip, all right, eventually you're going to get destroyed, all right, the Lord's going to destroy you with nuclear missiles, or probably something else earlier than that, or you get your head chopped off on what do you call those machines? A guillotine, yeah. Or you get your head chopped off on a guillotine, all right. But if you don't take the RFID microchip, because that hour in temptation, all right, it could very well, come this year, all right. The fulfillment of Revelations 13 and 16. It says, and I also keep thee from the hour of temptation which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So this is going to be a global thing, all right. This prophecy, Revelations 13 and 16, is something major, so it's going to be a global thing. It's not going to be just here in America, but it's going to be globally. It says, "Behold, I come quickly, hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown." And then, hey, once Revelations 13 and 16 gets implemented on a global scale, all right, when a vast majority of people start taking the check, all right, World War III, will basically be right around the corner, and the Lord will return soon, all right, with vengeance. It says, "Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown." And yeah, we gotta strive for the truth even unto death, all right. And I'm gonna bring out another one. So meanwhile, you have that going on right now. It's only going to escalate. Esau has to move, with gradualism, right, in order to get these things rolling. All right. And now you're seeing, Esau's a whole blueprint of what is he doing, such as, signing that new executive order, all right, that they're planning to create a new digital, well, yeah, the phasing out paper cash, as I remember, they're phasing out paper cash, they're phasing out paper checks, so we're going into a cashless society, all right. Matthew 24 and 34. It says, now learn a parable of, I'm sorry, 32. Now learn a parable of the fig tree when his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, that summer is not. So likewise when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the door. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass till all things be fulfilled. And that's right, the prophecies have to come in order. Yeah, you see World War III is brewing in the midst. You see, we're about to go into a major nuclear war, all right? But, you got to remember, the RFID microchip has to come to pass first, all right? The digital system, the digital implant that will be underneath people's skin that they're going to use to buy or sell, in order to, in order to be, part of society. And we can see that prophecy is fastly coming to pass because of these major moves that these that Esau is making, right? With the financial collapse, all right. Order app KO, problem reaction solution, all right. With these executive orders being passed, all right. You go into the grocery store and you see, self checkouts. So yeah, we're right at the corner. These prophecies are, basically are come to pass. Basically, Revelations 12 and 3. But yeah, there's also prophecy, happening, with the stock market crash. But it says, in a day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, meaning your investors, your people who deal with the stock markets, they're basically uh, basically they're shitting the pants right now because they're losing money. All right, to see that their investments are basically yeah, basically losing money, basically, And strong men shall bow themselves in the grander seas because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. And hey, right now the grinding is ceasing. Here you have Trump is laying off thousands or hundreds of thousands of federal workers. People are now behind on their mortgage. All right, that's in the news too. All right, people are talking about shit. Yeah, people are basically barely can find any better jobs in order to get by. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and the daughters of music shall be brought low. Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, and oh yeah, that's pretty much the point right there. But yeah, something to look out for, because eventually, this economy is going to collapse. All right, people are gonna go broke. Esau is basically gonna have these people on their knees. All right, begging for security. All right, because Esau is taking all their taking all their living away. They're basically having Esau's having the entire population struggle, right, during a time of financial collapse. It's all over in the news. We can possibly see hyperinflation, all right, very well this year. And remember, Esau's doing this because, all right, they have an agenda to fulfill. Right, it's a new world order. All right, by the way of the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip. He wants to chip everybody. He wants to control everybody. He wants to know what you're doing. All right, basically, Esau, Esau, he exalts himself as if he's God. All right. Can't find it. But yeah, it's a lesson. Hopefully, it's edifying. I want to give all praises, honors, and glories to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, and Shalom.